Hi, this is Ike from IkesOutdoors.com. This video is the next step you're going to need to take to get your bow properly set up. In the previous video, we discussed what to look for when you get your bow in as far as mechanical problems, limbs, things like that. The next thing you're going to need to do is get that bow ready to shoot. The first step in getting your bow ready to shoot is going to be to install a rest. Today we're going to discuss what different kind of rests are out there on the market, and the good things about these rests and the bad things about these rests. The first rest that we're going to show you are some old style rests. This one's on an old overdraw that I had, and it's a pretty old rest. It's just a prong style shoot through TM Hunter type of rest, and they're really good for 3D shooting and things like that. The drawbacks to these kind of rests are you have to have your arrow tuned pretty well to clear through this slot. You know, your vanes are going to have to slide through there, and there's a lot of clearance issues with these. They do fall away pretty nice and bounce back up pretty quick. But about all these are used for anymore is 3D shooting. They're very good for that. The next type of rest is pretty much the same principle. It's got a different kind of launcher on it. It's a blade rest, and you can see there your arrows don't have to be tuned quite as good because the blade's got a little bit of flex to it. And it's going to be a nice fall away too. But it's the same type of situation as the prong style rest. It's going to be used mainly for 3D shooting and indoors, things like that. The next one we have here is a trophy taker, and it's a fall away rest like these other two, but it's a little bit more, a little bit newer, and it's a little bit better as far as things go there. This rest installs with this cable, which installs to your to the cables on your bow. When you pull your bow back, those cables slide down and it'll pop this thing up, and when you release your bow, it automatically pop it down. You can see how that works pretty well there. And these rests are very nice. They fall away out of the way of your arrow. They're very easy to set up and pretty easy to tune. The only bad thing about these is you're going to need a bow press to put this cable on, because you're going to have to split your cables and serve this thing in. Timing is a little bit of an issue, you know, so it's one of the problems with this. And like these other two rests, when it comes to hunting, there's not much there to hold your arrow on and to keep it onto the rest. It's going to want to fall down and hit your riser and things like that. And those are your fall away rests. Another type of rest that we have out there is called a containment rest. This is the Whisker Biscuit here. Pretty simple rest, pretty simple design. The nice thing about these kind of rests is once you slide your arrow in there, there's no way for it to fall out. You know, if you really shake on it, you may be able to get it out of there, but you really have to be working to get it out. In a normal hunting situation, it's going to hold your arrows pretty well. Tuning, as far as setting this thing up, is pretty easy. You don't have to do anything to tune your arrows to it. The only problem with these is they're pretty hard on feathers, pretty hard on vanes over time, and you're constantly dragging on it. As far as speed loss, you're not going to lose a lot of speed by using this type of rest, but you are going to affect your feathers, you are going to affect your vanes, stuff like that. And you want to make sure you got a really good flexing job on your feathers, or this type of rest is going to rip them off. Okay, this next rest is also a containment rest, but it's got a little bit different design to it. This is designed by NAP. It's called the NAP 360, and it is a capture rest. But you can tell it's not like the Whisker Biscuit with fibers all the way around. This one has a couple brushes on there, and it has a plunger on the bottom. And this will secure your arrow in there, and it'll make it where it's pretty difficult to get out. But at the same time, it'll also allow for you to tune your arrow to be able to get clearance, so you're not constantly brushing up against fibers and things like that like you are in the Whisker Biscuit. So you can tell there it's got a pretty good containment to it. It's not quite as good as a Whisker Biscuit, as you can pop that arrow out. But for the most part, in most hunting situations, you're not going to be standing on your head to shoot. So it's pretty good rest. It's going to be pretty hard to get that arrow out of there. Pretty easy to set up, and pretty easy to tune. The next type of arrow rest that we're going to talk about is a fall away and containment rest combined. There's several of these out there on the market. QADs, some of the new trophy takers. The one that I prefer the most is Ripcord. It seems to be kind of the best of all of them. I got one set up here on my high country, and the thing that I like most about this rest is you get 100% clearance out of it, but you've also got a pretty good containment unit here. It's going to make it pretty tough to get the arrow out. It's quiet, Seems to be pretty easy to set up, and there's really no tools required on it. A little bit of felt on there on your plastic, and this thing's quiet and ready to hunt. No bow press needed. It's got this football clip with it down here in the bottom that you simply attach to your cables. Comes with instructions on how to set that up. It's fairly simple. This is a rest that I like to use, like I said, because it is a containment rest, but at the same time it's a fall away rest. Like the Whisker Biscuit, I can put that arrow in there and I can tune it. I can put the cock feather out, down, up, back, whatever I need to, whatever needs to happen to work for me. The only thing that you're going to want to watch is for clearance on these cables. Some bows are going to be a little bit easier to deal with as far as that goes. Some are like this high country, where they're over real close to the riser. So that's the only thing you're going to want to watch when you're tuning your arrows. So we've got our Guardian that we discussed with you in the last video. And we're going to take the next step on it, and we're going to set the arrow rest up on it and get it ready to shoot.